So the ingredients are cabbage. Here I have half of a cabbage, which I've sliced up. Potatoes. Here I have 3 potatoes, which I've cut up into cubes. Red beet. Here I have 2 raw beets, which I've grated. 2 carrots, which I've grated on the same size as the beets. 1 to 2 onions, which I've chopped up into small pieces. My shot is going to be too small for this. A little bit of tomato paste. You can also use fresh tomatoes if you want to. A good handful of parsley, which I've chopped up. About 4 cloves of garlic, which I've pressed. Laurel leaf. Because this is a vegetarian version of a borscht, I will be using some vegetable cubes to make vegetable stock to give it that extra flavor. Normally you would just cook the meat first in the water where the meat cooked before. And of course some pepper and salt to taste. You can also add some bell pepper, but I don't have one at hand, so I'm not going to add it, but that also gives that extra flavor to the borscht. Let's do this. First I'm going to fry the carrots and the onions. Take a pan, put it on the fire, and add whatever oil you'll be using. I'm going to add some olive oil. You can also use some sunflower seed oil or butter or whatever your heart desires. Before the comments start, I'm going to mention this is not the classic recipe of a borscht. This is more of a variation that my parents and my grandparents used to make, just without the meat. Once the oil's hot, add in your carrots. Give it a good stir. Add the onion as well. Smells good already. Fry for about a minute or 5 or until the carrots start to become softer. At this point I'm going to add some tomato puree. I'm just going to scrape everything to one side, a tablespoon or 2 of tomato puree, and I'm just going to let it fry a bit on its own just to remove a bit of the sourness of the tomato puree. And now just going to mix everything together. Add the garlic and let everything fry for another 30 to 40 seconds. Set it aside and we can move on to the next step. Here I have 2.5 liters of boiling water and I'm going to add my vegetable stock cubes in there. I'm just gonna let them dissolve. You can also make your own stock by combining some herbs and tying them together and throwing it in there, or just boiling some meat. But I'm a lazy person, so I'm going to use some vegetable stock cubes. To that I'm going to add a laurel leaf. And now comes the cabbage. Add it in there, give it a slight stir and let it cook for a minute or 5. I'm adding cabbage first because it takes the longest to cook of all of the ingredients. After that add the beets. Give it another good stir. Look at that, it already has that signature red color. It's far from done and I already want to eat it. And let it cook for another 5 minutes. After that you can add the carrots and the onions. Then the potatoes. Cover it with a lid and let it cook until the potatoes are done. So, the potatoes are done. Now I'm going to add the parsley and turn off the fire. Give everything a good stir. At this point you can season it with pepper and salt to taste. One final stir and the soup is done. And there you have it.